All right, let's dive into something pretty intense today, the coronation of the Mad Rune King. This is the story of a man named Wotan, and it's a dramatic and frankly terrifying transformation. We're going to follow his journey from just a man of his time into something way older, way more powerful, and it all kicks off with one single reality-shattering event.
So, picture this. It's the 19th century. Think industrial soot, the age of reason, all that good stuff. And Wotan, he's a product of this exact time. But then, something happens. A bolt of what the source material calls divine lightning comes down. And it doesn't just hit the ground, It tears right through the philosophical foundation of his rational, ordered world. This is not your average thunderstorm. It's basically a metaphysical attack.
Right, so this single lightning strike, it's the catalyst for everything that's about to happen. I mean, it completely fractures Wotan's perception of time. He is literally knocked out of the normal linear flow of history. And what this does is set the stage for a truly horrifying and completely unavoidable glimpse into his own destiny.
Okay, to really get what happens next, we have to talk about this core concept called Der Wille. Now, that's German for the will, but don't just think of it as, wanting something. It's way more primal. Imagine the raw, untamed force of existence itself, with all the safety filters, all the reason and morality just ripped away. That's the energy that the lightning unleashes, and it just surges through Wotan, shattering not just his mind, but the very logic of his world. And the immediate consequence of all that raw energy? Bam! He's yanked clean out of his own time. He's forced to look right at what he's going to become, his ultimate future self. And let me tell you, this is no pleasant vision of a happy retirement. Nope. It's a vision of a terrifying, all-powerful being that he is now destined, fated, to become.
So now we're pulled right along with him into this vision of the void. He's staring into a bleak, bleak future. And who's ruling it? The very same entity that he himself is turning into. You see, this isn't just some vague premonition. It's a blueprint. It's the step-by-step instructions for his own self-destruction and his rebirth.
So what does he see in this vision? Well, it's this brutal, four-step process the source calls a soul rewrite. First, he watches his future self literally carve these things called mad runes into his own skin. Then, he methodically bleeds out everything that makes him human. Pity, fear, that need for other people's approval, all gone. Next, he just swaps out regular logic for this humming energy of the absolute. And the last step, the real kicker, he completely rejects the reality that we all agree on.
And that right there, that's the end goal. That's why this whole process is so absolutely crucial. It's about shifting from how do I adapt to reality to how do I force reality to adapt to me. The ultimate power isn't money or armies. It's the ability to just say no to the shared world and impose your own. To literally will a universe into existence that bends to your design. Wild stuff.
So, who is this thing at the end of this incredibly dark road? Well, the source calls him the Mad Rune King. And yeah, he's the final product of that violent, soul-shattering process we just walked through.
Let's really look at the portrait of this king. First, check out the crown. It's not gold or jewels. It's made of that same violent divine lightning that started this whole mess. But now he's wearing it. He's harnessed it as a symbol of his power. He exists in what's called horrific isolation. I mean, how could he not? His reality is so completely his own that no one else can even enter it. The world he sees is literally written in blood and shadow. And get this, he even weaponizes cosmic irony, something the source calls the laughter of the void.
Okay, this comparison here is really key to understanding what's at stake philosophically. On one side, you have the Mad Rune King. On the other, you have this idea of the last man. If you're not familiar, that's a concept from Nietzsche about the kind of person who just wants comfort, safety, and a totally predictable life. Nothing more. So by choosing to become this isolated, terrifying king, Wotan is embracing what's called a tragic triumph over chaos. He's choosing that over just decaying into a safe, boring, comfortable mediocrity.
And this quote, man, it just perfectly sums up the king's entire philosophy. He's not fighting against the chaos of the universe. He's saying yes to all of it. A total, absolute yes. It's a complete, willing surrender to the same destructive forces that his ancestors feared and fought against. And that acceptance, that total embrace, that's the source of his terrifying power.
Okay, so the vision of the future king starts to fade. But don't think for a second that this is over. We're snapped right back to Wotan in the 19th century because a very real, very physical event is about to happen that will make this whole horrific future completely irreversible.
So just as he's trying to get his head around this insane, world-breaking vision he just saw, a tarantula bites him. But this isn't just any spider. It's marked with a specific, powerful rune, the rune of the Tyrant King. This is it. This is the point of no return. The vision he just saw is about to be locked into his very body, his very blood.
So what happens is this incredible fusion. The tarantula's venom, it acts like a catalyst. It mixes with the leftover energy from that divine lightning strike that's still buzzing around in his system. And that combination, it takes the vision, that blueprint for the Mad Rune King, and makes it permanent. It's now his biological reality.
And this fusion creates a whole new state inside him, something the Source calls mad vitality. Think of it like an infinite furnace of creation and destruction raging inside him. But what's the fuel for this fire? Himself. His former self. To keep this terrible engine running, he has to constantly, perpetually sacrifice every single thing he used to be.
All right, so the transformation is now complete. It's sealed in his blood. Wotan isn't just dealing with an internal change anymore. He's about to turn it all outward. And that brings us to the final stage, a war. But he's not fighting another army. He's declaring war on possibility itself.
So what does he do? He just rejects it all, society's most fundamental rules, honor, morality, the law. To him, they're not a foundation to build on, they're gilded chains holding people down. And in his new state of mind, he's absolutely convinced that he, and he alone, has the power and the right to rewrite existence for every single person.
I love this next quote because it just nails the transformation perfectly. He's no longer a thinker observing the storm, like a philosopher studying chaos from a safe distance. No, he's become the very core of the storm itself. He is the storm.
And that's pretty much where the story of Wotan's coronation leaves us. It's this insane journey into absolute power, but the cost is total self-destruction and a complete rejection of everything that makes us human. And it just leaves you with this really chilling question to think about. What actually happens when a single will, one person, declares war on reality itself?